Big up, the bitch is fat. That being said, okay. Now guys, let's talk about your ego. You've been doing the same shit since Evo. You've been taking L's, man, it ain't even close. Your whole YouTube career is a joke. DSP tries it, you never tried the rope. All the copium you're using to cope. Look at your wife, man, she needs to elope. You're a slope-faced alcoholic and you need help. Second of all, man, your career is a disgrace. A decade of failure, early start, yet you lost the race. Last place, level 1, run, rabbit, run. Better yet, do us a favor, suck the barrel of a gun. Yeah, clowning on the guy like it's going out of fashion. Eating pig stop every morning, noon and night, missing Ashton. They snaked me, I snaked them. 8 months with a plan. Took an L from Rich, cause you couldn't admit that Triple P, I call him Triple P, made you his little piggy bitch. She's fat, the bitch is fat, and all you do is laugh. Care more about pedo filth than your horse that's sad. Need a forklift to fuck this bitch that make you mad. That she'd rather stuff her face and bounce on Tyrone's lap. Pretend you got that thick skin, that you're a tough nut to crack. You'll never be a man, you're just another 220 on the map.
Whatever the hell you want to call them. They're so butthurt. So butthurt.
Begging on you. I'm stretching, oh. Keep tipping, I'ma spend it on booze. I kill tea, oh yeah. Bankruptcy, oh yeah. Spend my cash, Kevin Nash, WWE. I got me a fade and reusable bags. Criminals took them away and they won't give them back. Yeah, I got nobody to call, so I called up my dad.
My dad says, so hard, sorry to hear about all this, but I just want to let you know I caught a rainbow trout.
Business shirt and my pajama pants. This is how I address my channel, yeah. Pick my nose and wipe it on my crotch. Tip me and you get Gugats. Go laughs and tequila shots, yeah. But you know I really need the tips. Street Fighter 672. You better watch your lips. Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live. Big Iverson. When I started bagging, I was young. I got a stroked out tongue. I need tips like the money match I never won. Go. I'm begging on you. I'm stretching on you. Keep tipping, I'ma spend it all on booze. Fuck you, Jasper. I kill tea, oh yeah. Bankruptcy, oh yeah. Spend my cash, Kevin Nash, WWE. Fuck you, Jasper.
No magic spoon, well, I will not sign your forehead with any bitch here.
Garish Ip, real name, no gimmicks.
Now everything here is broken. Perfect, brilliant. Does this one work? This one kinda works. If I lead you over here now, and read this one over here now, and it still doesn't. Now it shows stuff. Whoa! You go there. We go back to this one, and it's not showing stuff. Why are you not still? Why? So I'm trying to get. So did you all know that if you try to make IT do something, it doesn't want to do? It complains. Because I learned that the hard way today. So I decided to make, or attempt to make, this whole OBS record Discord in a way it's not meant to. And it got very upset at me. And it still doesn't want to work. Which is annoying. So we might have to do it another way around. But first of all, we need to close Discord again. Because this fixes it for a moment. And then we just don't touch it when we fixed it. I fucking hate IT. That's the reason I just call the department and be like, fix this for me, please. Why will you not do it now? Remove this, please. And we open it again for the 90th time today. And it doesn't even show up. Why do you not show up? I do not understand. And now we hide stuff for a moment. Go here, you go here, here. I might have done it again. Whee! And then we go all the way up. All the way up. A little smaller, we move you over here. And you all have to deal with it. I can't make it work now. Because now it works. Now it probably doesn't want it not. No, we did it! Whoa! Hello, both side. So Philly has been Philly as of late, and naturally Philly has been a fucking nightmare and a half. And I have been busy, so I decided why not go back to the beginning of Healthside Phil. So I started a dialogue with good old man ALT. I should probably have music in the background for this. I'm a being a dingus. With good old man ALT. And ALT was immensely helpful in just giving data I did not expect to get. And a lot of it.
Big up, the bitch is fat,
Yes.
that
Be
being
quiet.
said. Okay, now guys.
Be quiet. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. And so now we have a lot of things to read that just exist, that Philly public about, which is fantastic. We all love when Philly is public about things. And now this should play at some point. There we go. So I'm just gonna start with stuff. And we're gonna start pre-gout in April 2015. Where Phil was sick. Oh no, good night all. I'll see you all tomorrow for more Persona, and hopefully less foot pain. No worries if you hate JRPGs. MKX is this Tuesday. Yes, it was. Always start with the snake hitting. So this is what ALT have docked at the beginning of the gardening. Watching us again. Foot cells rolling and killing me. But I had a gin and tonic, so it's not so bad. The hell did I do to my foot? This is before Phil knew he had gout. This is when the foot started becoming pig-sized. Maybe you got gout, people said already in April. Hello, Mephi. Maybe just read about it. It's possible, although I've never had this issue before. So it's more likely something else, because we all know, if you have a condition, you can't have a condition you've never had before. Like people never get new conditions at all. My foot is swollen and / injured because we still don't know. Cat, I need to read my screen. Can you bugger off? Per online diagnosis, yes, Healthside Phil. It seems to be sesamoiditis, And all I can do is to be careful. This blows for sure. Unscheduled doctor visits is expensive, aka equals money even if you have insurance. Well, I'm gonna fact check this later, but this is always fun. But again, April, with your lifestyle, I suspect is gout. It is possible. Like with all these things, there is clearly some health issues from the poor way he's been treating his body that we need to look at. And then Phil decided that his swollen foot should have a spot in his schedule post of April 12, 2015. MKX will also continue all this week, but this schedule will be determined by what happens with my foot, which is currently swollen and in pain. More info will be made available later in the week. Can I not? This is just fantastic. Just fantastic. We have no idea. We're not going to the doctor yet. I would take a picture. Just bruising a light quilt against my foot causes serious pain. Ouch! Please let this subside by tonight. Well, it did not. But he was then debating taking a picture of his foot. But he will spare us because he has ugly feet. Spoiler alert. He changed his mind on this because apparently his feet aren't ugly enough. And hello, Dapper and Astral and Isaac. And so Phil decides to talk about it. And what has Philly has to say about this? It can't be that stupid, right? It's Philly, it's his body, right? He knows his body. Well,
Yada.
Well, about that.
This happened. And I know you probably can't see it very well because this is a 1080p.
We have the mutant foot dangling.
You can't even
And we can't. It doesn't even look that swollen.
My foot
Like
isn't clear.
Like if we look at it, we can see the bone sixers from where the toes meet the foot itself. Normally, you will be able to see some bone texture here. That is normally an indication that it's swollen or the person is massively overweight. In Philly's case, we have a mix of both, but it actually doesn't look that swollen. But never mind that.
You can't even tell from that shot at all.
No,
My
we
foot
can't,
is
Phil.
Incredibly swollen. You cannot tell from what I wanted to show you there. It's I'd say about 1.5 times the chubbiness of my other foot. It's swollen up out of nowhere.
If only we
Now,
could
at
do
first,
something like, I don't know,
had
sew
jacked
both
it,
feet
or
so
I'd
we
done
could
something
compare
that
them. But
caused
no,
it to
that's
happen.
impossible.
But then I woke up this
Sadly,
morning,
that is
this
impossible.
Sunday morning, to excruciating pain. The thing had swollen up even worse than it had on Saturday. It was very
And I just love
pink,
it's not.
and
There's
it
just
literally just brushing it or even touching it with a light blanket to keep
no
it
thoughts
warm,
about anything
hurt
other
like
than
crazy. So after
this
doing a bunch
hurts.
of research online, after what everyone's
So
been
we go
telling me, it
online.
sounds to me like I might have gout, which is. Let me tell you, this week I celebrated my 33rd birthday. Happy birthday to me, right? I'm getting up there in age. Pretty soon I'll be officially considered middle age. I think what they say is 35 is considered middle age.
No, maybe
I'm not a young adult
in the early
anymore, right?
90s.
And since I've moved here to the state of Washington in the middle of last year, I've made dramatic strides and improvements in my daily diet,
Okay.
in my health. Look at me. I've lost a lot of weight since I moved here. All of the changes.
In Phil's defense, I did look at some old pictures here. He has lost weight compared to before he moved. But it is so minimal. And overall, he's still chubbier than during his Street Fighter days. So pickups, if you already started here on health side Phil that we are having nowadays. But we are going to see that's not the case.
Since I moved to Washington have been healthy changes. And
All
then
the
this
healthy
happened.
changes, Phil. Yes,
And it
yes.
makes no sense. And people are like, well, if it's gout, that means that you have high acid levels in your diet. You have to alter your diet. Maybe you're drinking too much, which is kind of weird. I mean, I do have a drink from not every single day, but I do have a gin and tonic or two every once in a while, maybe, a few times a week at night to unwind, especially if it's been a stressful day or if my back's hurting me. But it's not like I'm a binge drinker and I go fucking crazy drinking every day. You know what I mean? It's not like I eat disgusting, unhealthy foods. When I lived in Connecticut,
Well, this is the peak. DSP tries it, and this is also the time where he, a year and a half roughly, confessed that he had way too much to drink around this time. Way too much to drink, especially right after the move. He really struggled with the booze. But it's good to know that he's drinking less here than he was in Connecticut, according to his own words. And then later he will admit that he's still drinking too much. But good on you, Phil.
I drank more and I ate worse than I did here.
Yeah, but it's still
So
bad.
weird
But
to
never
me
mind
this
that.
is happening now, okay?
Not
all
really.
day today, I took today off. All right, last night I couldn't do after
Today
being out, I
off,
had to
you're a
actually
fucking
go out
live
yesterday
streamer.
evening to do my weekly shopping for groceries and stuff, and I was walking on the foot, which I shouldn't have done. It absolutely killed me all last evening. It was even worse this morning. I said, I can't even go upstairs and downstairs easily. I need to take some time off. So I did not do my Persona 4 stream today.
Oh no.
And I didn't even know if I was going to be able to
He
make
was
it back
so
tonight for
much
the weekend
pain that he
review.
couldn't
There's
sit
actually
still
some
and play a
podcast
video
I'm working
game.
on tonight, and I was actually going to work on the Bloodborne review. I didn't know if I
Oh,
was gonna be
poor
able to do
Philly
any of
boy.
that. The good news is, even though my foot is incredibly swelled and it fucking hurts, it's nowhere near as bad as it was this morning, and I am more mobile, and I'm able to be up here and in the office to work for the second half of the night. So,
So yes,
what
what
I'm
Phil?
about to do, you guys,
Yes.
I'm about to run through the weekend preview. If
Okay.
the foot gets better, and it's also going to be a weekend preview if it doesn't. All right, because the bottom line is this: I do have health insurance now. However, it doesn't work how a lot of people assume it works. I know a lot of you guys are international to the United States. You don't live in the United States like me, and you don't understand how our healthcare system works.
So we are getting a schedule for if he hurts his foot or if
Today I
foot
had a
doesn't
choice.
hurt.
I had basically three
Because
choices.
clearly
All right.
influences his
Number one,
YouTube.
I could have tried to call a
career.
normal doctor and
Yes,
arrange
normal
for an
doctor.
appointment. Unfortunately, normal doctors
Uh-huh.
are closed on Sunday in the United States.
Oh no.
So that means I can't go to a normal doctor. So that would have been a waste of time, right?
Okay.
Number two, my other option would have been to try to contact an emergency services or clinic style place where you don't necessarily have a primary care doctor, but you have people
Uh-huh.
who are there to
Yes.
deal with emergencies. So my foot was broken and
Uh-huh.
bleeding, okay, and I needed to be put in a cast or something.
Or now hear me out, Phil. Or your foot is hurting so much you can't walk on it. That I would also classify that as an emergency because it is hindering your day-to-day life. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm I'm wrong.
You know, then I would have went there, or if I was dying, you know, I couldn't breathe or something. you
No,
go
Phil.
there,
Phil
all
Tide
right?
often says
And
Phil
I've
is
done that. I
a
did
Phil
that
is a
year ago.
victim.
I went to a clinic in Connecticut because if you remember, I had a really bad throat
Hey,
infection.
boss.
And I went there. They diagnosed me as having a fungal infection in my throat. They gave me a bunch of medicines. And
We are moving on for something else.
Now, I was covered by insurance, by the way. I had insurance when I lived in Connecticut that was supposed to be good.
But naturally, they overcharged him as they always do. But we're not done yet. A few more. We have this later that week with the Acting King.
Range and
Um,
your needs. These are the common ones that people get. So I'm
Oh,
thinking,
that's
I'll just pick
that.
one of- Here's all your plans, and there's 1,000 of them in your face, and then they say, "Oh, for your age range and your
Okay.
your needs, these
So-
are the common ones that people get."
So Phil had to pick a health insurance, which apparently was so difficult, as we are about to hear. Somehow clicking on a health insurance is too difficult.
So I'm thinking, I'll just pick one of the common plans, right? So I just picked one, not knowing what I was doing. Got healthcare, insurance card came, great. So it took me a while, I'll be honest, this year's been busy. Haven't been able to, you know, really get to a doctor.
And this will be important later because we just picked one. We just picked one that seemed reasonable. We didn't read them. We didn't do any research. We just clicked one that they recommended to us.
Or anything. And then,
And then what do we do
and
for you?
then, my foot, which you can't really see, I can't lift it up high enough to show you. My foot swelled up, and I didn't know what it was. I've never had this problem in my life before. 2 weeks I've been nursing this foot. Finally, it swelled up again. This week I make the doctor appointment. I gotta go to the doctor. I gotta figure out what's going on. The doctor gives me a full physical,
So, yeah.
and that's covered under the
Oh, this is the wrong
insurance.
clip.
The
Well, it
doctor
doesn't.
says, "Oh, you have gout in your foot, which means that you have high acid levels, and you need to."
I fucked around too. bitch. I was not meant to play this yet. Doesn't matter. Because we're going back here. We did show a picture of our foot. Now, what's important whenever you have a problem or swelling is elevation. Preparing for the day. An ice pack on swollen foot, lol. You've seen my office, lol. No room to elevate my foot in here. I see a nice armrest right here. Right here. If you just scoot a bit down and foot up, perfect. It just needs to be above your hips or above your heart, ideally both. Easy height to rest it on here, but I can see the DVDs have taken space here. They have moved so far now. They are not just on the wall. They're now also on the sofa. Anyway, good news. Foot isn't nearly as swollen as it was yesterday. Can walk much easier today. Hope to be back to normal soon. Hello, Makohoshi. Foot is less swollen. Still, but better than earlier. But the big toe can still barely move. Question is, how will it be in the morning? Well, big spoiler, 3 days later, it's still a problem. Foot is almost at 100%. Honestly, not sure what this caused it, but I'll be making health changes to my diet permanently regardless. Why? If you have no idea what's causing it, why the fuck would you make changes? We're now 7 days into this, been having a tall glass of cherry juice for breakfast since my foot swelled up a week ago. I go into that a bit later, but that really doesn't help. There's reasons why we think it helps, or we once did. So I foolishly stopped taking anti-inflammatory, taking it easy, and icing my foot like, guess fuck, it's all up a bit again and hurts. Well. So Philly boy, you decided to stop medicating the problem before it was gone, and you're now complaining that it hurts, that it didn't go away, that it didn't get fixed. I mean, no, too loud. Go away. I mean, it doesn't take much brain power to know that if you walk around on a broken foot, it keeps hurting that foot, right? But maybe that's just me. Can't seem to get the swelling completely out of my foot. Still just a bit side in the big toe and pink test tender on the right side. How annoying. Well, so I did some research. Well, and Dr. Harsh Patel in 2016 said that the average flare-up takes 3 to 10 days. We're now 11 days into it, and the pain is the worst in the first 24 hours. And then after that, it just swells up as the body adjusts to the crystals and fight them and uses temperature to that. Yeah, it sucks for you. It's meant to. Prompt treatment shortens the duration and reduces the risk of chronic gout. This was a study made in 2016. We knew this before, but Patel really solidified it. This was where the other YouTube link was meant to be. We made an appointment to the doctor after 15 days. It took us 15 days before we booked an appointment to the doctor. Until then, we just hardly could walk on our foot. It was swelling, and people online was making fun of us for having gout. A wound checkup, so maybe nothing. Emergency care is very expensive. The average cost of an urgent care visit without insurance in America ranges from $125 to $300 for basic medical examination and diagnosis. This was in 2022. So why is 2022? Well, inflation has been rather rough the last 10 years. So this was a lot cheaper back in 2015. Let's just put that out there. With insurance, the average cost of an urgent care visit in the United States is between $20 to $75 in fixed co-pays. This was in 2025 with even higher inflation. So when Phil here says very expensive, I assume he means like $25, maybe 30. He does live in a more expensive state, so it is on the higher end of these. That is fair, Dapper. That is in 15 days. It is a moderate speed. But if you have a foot you can hardly walk on, and it takes you 15 days to call a doctor, or even get an appointment, you are being a dingus. I'm sorry to say it, but if you can hardly walk for 15 days, it's a miracle that you even know how to pick up the phone. Like, it's fine if you have a cold or it's just a mild annoyance, but he said he could hardly walk. Feels like I went back in time to when my foot first started hurting. Is that bad again? Really need a long-term solution at this point, like talking to your doctor. Hope the doc can at least give me something to get the foot back in shape short term. Probably need blood work, but I need something now. So we still haven't been to the doctor. we got our appointment the 27th, and it's now the 29th before we actually go to the doctor. American Healthcare pharmacy tried to charge me $300 for my foot medication. Doc prescribed me a month with 2 refills for 3 days treatment. Well, yes. Also just took 2 out of my second out of 6 pills for my foot, so he's on day 1 of treatment here. I explain a bit. I will go into details about this later. Day 1 of treatment. First pill I took didn't do much of anything, but I'm assuming it takes a few doses to actually work. Well, so I did a bit of research. In 2010 to 2020, the only medication you were given doses of 6 pills in regards to gout was chlorhexidine. Chlorhexidine is a bit peculiar because it's one of those medications where you need at least half the doses before half the treatment doses, not half a doses, but half of the treatment doses before you start to see any effect, which would in this case be 3 to 4 pills for fill. Chlorhexidine was and still is in 2018 often prescribed as 0.6 milligram or microgram, or copying from websites that put it right, twice daily for gout flare-up prevention. Meaning this is not an acute treatment for this, I think. This is to prevent the flare-up, because the flare-up has already happened. We are now just treating it. FYI, my foot swelling has lessened. Oh, it's almost like you're taking medication. Who knows? It's still very tight, still some pain. Took my 3rd pill out of 6. 2 days to go. Well, so exactly what the medication says it should do. Around halfway through the doses, you start seeing effects, and then after that, it goes away. Apparently, the ones offered through the Washington website are garbage. I don't know exactly. So this is in regards to his insurance. They paid $20 out of $300 for my medication. Well, your medication is for a lifestyle condition with hereditary increases to likeliness. So it's not something most insurers cover, but fair enough. Think this medication is working. Can walk on my foot normally now. Woo! It only took us 19 to 21 days before we could walk on our foot again without problem. It only took us 2.5 days on medication. If only we could have gone to the doctor sooner, Dapper. May get more meds stat to be safe. Pretty pleased with the result of my foot medication after only 2 days, so we're not even done yet. Still a bit pilly, I'll have to drop 30 to 60 more to get this cure stick though. Well, I wonder what this could possibly mean, right? Right, there's no way Philly would have made a mistake here and said something stupid, right? He never does that. Well,
range and your needs, these are the common ones that people get. So I'm thinking I'll just pick one of the common plans, right? So I just picked one. week. It means that during the daytime, when normally I'd be doing my first stream, I'm going to be doing other things. So perfect example, tomorrow, I actually have an important phone call I have to make.
Okay.
I'm going to, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm publicly saying this, I'm making a doctor's appointment to go see a doctor for a physical checkup and for my foot. If you haven't
Wait, did I fuck it up again? I think I already fucked up all my links.
range and your needs, these are the common ones that people get. So I'm thinking I'll just pick one of the common plans, right? So I just picked.
No, it is this one.
Well, you can't really see it, I guess. No, you can't. Yeah, see, you can't. You see this? See how it sticks out?
So
right
it's
there?
still
That's
swollen.
what it's supposed to do.
It's
That's
still
what it's
swollen
supposed to
here.
stick out like that. It's supposed to be
This
like
is
almost
not how it's
flat.
meant to be.
That's a bump, and it hasn't gone away since 2 weeks ago when my
Well-
my foot swelled up. That's supposed to have that bump. The good news is the foot almost doesn't hurt at all anymore, but it's not going completely away. So obviously there's an underlying issue here. I have to see a doctor for it. I'm going to make a doctor's appointment tomorrow. And
So it sounds here, which is later, that he still haven't gotten diagnosed with gout, right? But he's on anti-inflammatory medication that helps against gout. That has helped, but the swelling is not going down. It's not going down because there's crystals that has formed, and the crystals need to either be extracted or break down naturally. That takes a while, but it is not getting worse. But okay.
in addition, I'm going to work on the MKX review and have that released tomorrow. So at the very least, even though you're not going to see me for a first stream tomorrow, you're going to see the MKX review coming out. And I am going to be doing a second stream tomorrow night. It will be the continuation of Persona 4. Now, if you haven't been following along
Okay.
the playthrough, I
So that was our little update with this. Let's just open the site. Dingus.
urge range in your hands, right? Insurance card came, great. So it took me a while, I'll be honest, this year's been busy. Haven't
So
been able to,
what
you
did
know,
he
really
say
get to
about the
doctor
pills
or anything.
exactly?
And then my foot, which you can't really see, I can't
Why is this link not jumping to the other time frame?
urge you to catch up, because in the past 2 streams, a ridiculous development news so far, in my opinion.
Dingus, that damn it, you too. Or me, most likely me. But he ends up saying it's like 30 pills, that's a monthly supply. And the doctor told her to take 3, and well, you get more pills than what you need when you're having anti-flare-up medication. Now, the reason you get this is because, well, it's very simple actually. You will have more flare-ups. This is not going away. So you now have pills you can take for the next time if you follow the same treatment, which is 2 pills a day for 3 days. That will that will prevent more flare-ups happening until the body itself can work with the problem. But Phil fails to follow this basic medication guideline that he gets. My foot haven't gotten any better, so it looks like my schedule is going to have to shift around this weekend, as I cannot walk on it. Damn. My foot feels like it will going to burst. Worst it felt like even with diet changes. Going extreme. No liquor, no red meat, no silvers, period. For a while at least. For a while. This is for a while is an interesting wording here, Philly. so we're having another flare up, which is meant to happen. Blood tests showed everything fine besides cholesterol. X-ray showed nothing, which makes sense. So yeah. Now why is this important? That's because already in 2011 we have consistent studies that found that gout patients very typically had other abnormal blood lipids, and one of those is cholesterol. And then in our therapeutics in 2010, it was classified that if someone has gout, it would not be unusual for doctors to also be concerned about cholesterol, because both conditions commonly occur together as part of a broader metabolic health issue. Oops. So the fact he has high cholesterol here indicates that it's just a common indicator that this is in fact proper gout he has. Proper gout. So he should take a lot of health a lot of dietary changes to his life already. But no, we're only doing it for a while. This cold turkey thing, going extreme changes for a while. Good night, all. Hopefully, this invisible knife in my foot removes itself during my slumber. Boo hoo. Boo hoo, Philly. Foot still swollen / red, but pressure have relieved a bit and pain is going away. Back to Dr. Harsh Patel. A gout flare typically lasts between 3 and 10 days without treatment. Well, how long did this one take, we wonder here? Well, this one started, hasn't gotten any better. It started on the May 1st. So we just haven't done anything about it. Forgot to mention my foot medication ran out this weekend and I don't have another $300. So guess occasional foot pain will be the norm for now. I'm fucking sorry. This is the peak of your YouTube career. You're making like $10,000 a month and you don't have 300? Then people, maybe if you don't eat fast food, then so much it would be gone by now. Not how it works at all, Mr. Doctor. So actually, the actual doctor here, that is kind of how it works. If you reduce the intake of acids that is used to build these crystals, the crystals can be built in your body. It's very simple, actually. Yeah, Alex. So that looks like a blunt trauma bruise, which will typically take 3 to 6 weeks to heal. But that is when we are in a situation where we can classify it as a blunt trauma bruising. So I am very confused what Philly boy has done that hurt him so much. He has something we in the ER would call a blunt trauma bruising. And I really hope it's not working out, because that is doing something massively wrong. Double food snack explosion and acid reduction berries for the win. No. Hi, Spooky. No, there is no such thing as acid reducing berries. Now, this is where we're gonna talk a bit about cherry juice. I forgot to put the music back on because I'm an idiot. We're gonna talk a bit about cherry juice. Because cherry juice was for a while presumed to help against gout. Now, where is this coming from? Why did we think cherries? Well, because when people ate cherries when they had flare-ups, inflammatory flare-ups, it went away. Now, the reality of this and why people started thinking berries is actually a bit stupid, because sugar is one of the energy components made to make these crystals that Phil wants to avoid, so he should cut most sugar. But why is berries helpful? Well, that's because there's a lot of water in berries. So the reason we have this misconception that cherry juice or strawberries or cucumber helps with gout and other inflammatory issues is because they have a lot of water. They are just a very effective hydrator. That is the sole reason where this misconception came from, is because water. So every time Phil has berries to reduce the acid, or hear me out now, cherry juice, he could also have a glass of fucking water. That's sadly the reality of it. He could also just drink water. Yep, zombie fan. He could just drink water. And now we will go to some of the saddest things I think I've ever heard Philly say.
I use build it to your body. Technology. 105-bit cheers. And Phil, I have a thoughtful question. Our parents struggle with technology this generation. Our generation will struggle
Because
with
Phil is going to talk about parents and kids.
We don't know. Probably more technology that we're not, we don't understand. Maybe like built-in technology, built into your bodies and shit. Heads-up displays built into your eyes, right? It'll be some crazy shit that we're not used to because it'll be new that, we didn't grow up with. Rowdy Catnut says, am I worried about passing on medical issues and hereditary conditions such as gout to a kid? Yeah. I have medical conditions, not just gout, other things that I don't talk about publicly that, yeah, I know they've been rough in my life, and I would actually feel bad passing those on to a kid. So it is a concern as well.
So we are expressing concern about all this with our kids, which is a fair concern to have. But it also shows a complete lack of understanding of what gout actually is, because gout doesn't. Gout needs a trigger, and hey, I'm not talking a trigger as in you do something once. It's a very long trigger.
And Spicoli just did a 3012-bit cheer, living up to his word. He says, "Well done. Going to be stepping away to make dinner."
A long trigger of consistent. What's a good way of explaining this? It needs a period of time where there is consistent surplus of materials that are needed to construct afloric crystals and afloric acids. And if that is present for a long enough period, your body will have troubles, and that will lead to a condition like gout. And then we have this that I had to bring.
Rex is asking personal shit about contraceptives that I'm not going to answer. Mazalis says, don't start having kids until your late 30s or early 40s like my family.
So we're not going to talk about what protection we're using, even though it's an extremely simple, now we use condoms, or we don't use any, or, well, I can't have kids anyway, so who cares, cream pies. But yeah, I've enjoyed Oh, that's not what you said. I have to point out. Yeah, he has some very interesting takes on kids. Good snort,
Didn't live
always.
until their 90s and 100s. Well, not me. Folks, I hate to tell you guys, I'm not going to be around till I'm 90 or 100. Just warning.
But this topic here
here
of when it's too old to have kids is actually an interesting one, because you can often talk about having the energy to be there for the kids. You can also talk about being there for them after they're 18, blah, 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 blah. But Philly here
around for that long.
Doesn't go an emotional
I actually
route.
have some medical issues and things that I don't
Yeah,
really
talking
talk
about conditions.
And there's no way I'm going to be around for that long, that's for sure.
And because of these conditions, we are not going to become 80 to 90 years old. Which is very interesting, considering we now know that Linda is, according to the leaked DMs that Philly leaked himself, that Darciak then confirmed by leaking his DMs, we now know that Linda is in bad shape. For one reason or another. And I hope she's well. I hope her condition isn't too bad. But we know that that time frame fits really well with what Philly's saying here, because she is turning late 70s.
Dragons did it cheer. Speaking of kids, Kylie Jenner had a
So,
baby girl.
so what conditions do he
I don't
have
really care.
other than gout?
And Conan the Barbarian did a cheer and said, when is it too old to have children?
But this
Well, that's, again,
question is
subjective.
interesting. It's subjective.
It's
Yes,
subjective.
it is.
There's no definitive answer. This is the right time and this is the wrong time, and now you're too old, and now,
Well, you can't be
But,
too old. Like, there's a
you know,
bodily issue that comes up.
we're talking about 40, because you got to basically raise that kid till they're an adult. So, if you're thinking,
I have not seen that roadside yet, but I
if you're
would.
40 and you have a kid,
if you need
you're
my
gonna raise them
opinion
till
on
at
it, I
least,
don't mind.
18, 20.
So,
Yeah,
so
so
we need
that's
to
if
be
you're
at least
60,
18 to
you're
20
60,
before we
start to
have kids. But you don't need to be 60. Then you're too old.
Old, you start to get sick. A lot of that's retirement age and shit. So, I'd probably say 40, 45 would start to be the very, very, very
So
big
35 is the upper limit of
how
having
old.
kids.
Then again, do you want to leave a kid behind at 18 years old and their parents die because they're elderly? See what I mean?
So yeah, Phil's problem here is not anything emotional. Phil's problem is you need to be old enough so you are able to take care of the kid in a, like, be there, help them in one way or another, which is very interesting. There's nothing emotional about it. It's just you need to be able to take care of the kid. Hard stop. And yeah, like, I have a bad heart, and because of that, I'm not having kids. That's just how it is. Mainly because it might kill me to have kids, but that's another conversation. But because of that, I don't want my kids to suffer with that. I don't want my kids to go around getting dizzy whenever they after sports classes and so on. Like, ow, Broside, you can't just that. Well, technically it is a splinter. Very technically, and just yank it out. This hole, just yank it out. But I don't want kids because I don't want them to pass out in gym classes. I don't want them to always be careful when they get up from a bed too quickly, or they can't do certain things like bungee jumping or chopper jumping and so on. There's just some things they can't do. And because I have this condition, I have made the decision that I don't want my kids to suffer with these things, even though my things are very, very minor, because it's not something that affects my life that much, that I get dizzy easy and I pass out if I do something stupid. But Phil has maybe gout. And then things he doesn't want to talk about that means you don't get old. Like, his life is very manageable. Phil has a good health baseline. But it doesn't stop there. Because we're not done yet. I'm longer down than I thought, but I don't have a lot of time today before I need something else. But Phil gets sick in October again. This is just a few months later. Oh, I'm not feeling so well. I'm definitely... Did I drop thing? I did. At the very least, my late stream will happen, but I'm feeling queasy and I have a headache. So I'm heading back to bed for a bit. I'll let you know here, wherever or not, any first stream will happen, but it's off for now. And then he did the most pathetic tweet I have ever seen in my life. And Twitter is a fucking cesspit. Feeling pretty depressed tonight. Anyone got something to cheer me up? Lol. Philly, you can't tweet this, even in your most depressed states. You just can't tweet this. It's not okay. I have no concept of how healthcare in the US. If you have no concept of how they started talking about depression, blah 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 blah. This led on for a while on his Twitter. If you have no concept of how healthcare in the US works, please stop telling me to go to a doctor. A single visit in 2015 cost me $2,000 and I cannot afford it. This has been my situation since being self-employed in 2010 and will not change unless our government does. In Washington State, an average primary care doctor visits typically costs between $130 and $200 out-of-pocket cash price. This is when you are not insured. With insurance, patients usually pay. Why did that? ALT! No! Go away, old man. With insurance, patients usually pay $25 to $70. This is from Reddit/r Seattle, Washington, who posted from an article on Sidecar Health from 2015. And Phil has health insurance. Even though it's a bad health insurance, he has one. So at max, this would be $70. But I could be wrong. He could be going to a specialist. Being realistic here, I feel awful, and I'm trying to get sleep. It's not going well. The podcast is probably not going to happen again, and I'm sorry. I will update you all with hopefully good news. But don't get your hopes up. I'm really damn sick. I can see a regular doctor for $70 right now. Oh, really? Well, I wonder what data I could have found that said that. Right now with my insurance, Severe insurance. But if I need tests, that's more. Meds, that's more. And it adds up. The fact is, medical care exists in the US, but it's far too expensive for the self-employed to afford. Yeah, the old man normally naps by now, doesn't he? For an initial specialist consultation or hospital-affected clinic, rates often range from $250 to $500 with potential added facilities fees. Same article. How much did Phil say again? He said 2,000. 500 is a lot up to. There's a while up to 2,000. I'm just putting that out there. Just a tiny bit up there, right? Like, like $1,500 is apparently not a lot of money since you can just make that jump. But we're not done. Of course, we're not done. We go to Minecraft.
Zilla. There you go. PKD tipped me $1. He says, gout is totally controllable and caused by personal dietary choices. Wrong. It's a hereditary disease that's determined by.
So both of you are wrong right now, but okay, that's let
acid
him cook.
levels in the body. Some people just genetically have more acid in their body, and yes, you're right. Actually, adjusting your diet to have less things that create acid in your body would prevent outbreaks of it or flare-ups of it. But I have it because of my genetics. I don't have it because I was eating 40 pounds of red meat a day. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm so sorry, Phil, but no, everyone can get it. And the condition for it is that your body is able to process acid levels at a regular speed, and if they fall behind, it will start to make that acid into crystals. And when you have those crystals, they have to go somewhere, so they go in your joints, it causes swelling, blah, 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 we have gout. And some people have an easier time getting it because of genes, that is correct. And some people have a easier time not getting it because of genes. Well, you had your aunt have it, not your parents, not anyone. So you are in a moderate group of having it from inherited, which means that you're not actually, it's not that big a factor. It is a factor, but not that big one. You then also decided to have a lot of alcohol. You had a lot of sugary drinks. You had a lot of fast food. You really like shellfish. You have said that in the past. You often ordered shrimp when you were out eating with the Pandali. You like surf and surf. You have a lot of really bad dietary decisions, and you still do at this point. It's so you can control it up, because if you look at you now, it's been a while since you have had a gout flare-up. A long while. So that's interesting, right? Yeah. So I wonder what happened since he's not having as many gout flares anymore. Maybe it's because he doesn't drink as much, so doesn't eat as much red meat, like this person said.
When I found out I had it, I freaked out because I was like, why do I have this? You know, why would I have it? Typically, people who have gout actually.
That is true, Henry. I am not accounting for the alien DNA.
Either really fat or just have.
But I haven't studied it, so it's hard for me to say.
You know, we're talking like they drink a ton. They
like
eat
you.
red meat constantly, every day, without any control
or shellfish.
over their diet. You know,
like
that's
you.
the kind of people who overweight, really unhealthy
like you.
people are the kind of people who get it. My aunt, who had it, was overweight. So no surprise that, you know, she had it and she had flare-ups and stuff. So for someone like me, who's considered not, I mean, am I overweight? Yes, a little bit, but I'm not like, bro,
but you are overweight.
For someone like me to have it is odd. In fact, that's what the doctor said to me when I went to see the doctor. She's like, well, does it run in your family? At that point, I didn't even know that it did. And I said, I have no idea, not to my knowledge. She's like, it's very odd for someone like you to have this. So you're going to.
It's very odd for someone to have this. Okay. Maybe he talks more about it.
So, anyway.
Oh, no, mind. We're doing the anyway. Well, if only I couldn't check everything with data, right? Like, if only data wasn't a thing. For men, the most common end of onset for gout is between 30 to 50 years old from the Institute of Arthritis and Joint Issues in 2025. Early onset gout is defined as aid at onset at below 40, which means that he's an early case for gout, but still within of the most common age group for men at the time. He's in his late 20s at this point. And I'm also very curious What the fuck did he say to that doctor? Yeah, I go outside every day. I have a forest in my backyard. I don't drink. I don't like what the fuck did you say for a doctor to be like, it's very weird you have this? That makes no sense. Um, but Philly boy, um, that's really not how this works, my friend. Um, you really tortured your body in many aspects, and you keep doing it, and you still do it today. You're just doing it in a different way today with your fitness arc that I will bring up next time. Because I have had it with this fucking health side, Phil. I am done not saying anything. At first I didn't care about Phil talking about health. And the reason for that is because any improvement to your health is better than no improvement to health. Every doctor will say this. Every person that cares about fitness, endurance, nutrition will say anything is better than nothing. But I lost it the other day, as some of you may have seen on my channel posts, because Philly recently talked about why he's doing fitness. And I'm not even gonna call it fitness, why he's bulking up. And yeah, that is also he is known to make shit up about what people say. So he could have lied about what the doctor actually said, and the doctor just didn't comment on it. But then again, he was in the early age group of it, so a doctor would have said, oh, that is a bit odd, you're having it this early, but it does happen, right? But recently Philly explained that he recently started doing muscle work, not cardio, not endurance training, nothing. He started doing muscle work. It was because he wanted to live longer. And I kinda lost it a bit, and because there is no one that would ever recommend getting muscles and lifting weight as the go-to training if you wanna live longer, if you wanna live healthier, if you don't wanna be in pain when you get up in the morning, if you wanna not be tired from grocery shopping and all this that we see from people who have a very stationary and solidity and very consistent lazy lifestyle as Phil, which is something we're seeing more and more, even with my field, which is kids. I am seeing children who are getting very, very unhealthy because we sit down a lot, we play a lot of games. Most of our books are now also audiobooks, so we don't have to actually hold something, which is weird that little bit of exercise of holding something actually mattered, but it did. But Phil is talking like he has cracked the code of health. He's cracked the code of what to do to have a long life, and he's teetering on the edge of giving someone extremely harmful advice. He's giving advice that would be extremely demotivating to people, but he's teetering ever so slightly on that edge of being harmful. And now with him saying, well, I wanted to do this to live longer and be more available to my wife, to be more energetic. And it's like, there is so little evidence that what you're doing is a good way of doing that. Naturally it helps, naturally a little bit is better than nothing, but the full fact that he openly said, no, I'm not doing cardio, I'm debating starting doing cardio or endurance training or anything like that, when it's literally the first thing everyone would recommend. Literally the first thing everyone would be like, no, take walks, run, anything like that, go swimming, trampolines. You have a treadmill, for fuck's sake, Phil. You had a treadmill and exercise bike once upon a time, which are perfect for cardio training. And instead you bought a weight machine, you bought dumbbells, and you went on a 2-year health journey according to yourself before you started debating doing cardio. What the fuck happened to the treadmill and exercise bike? I know one of them you assembled so long you had to return it, but what happened to it? Why are we not using these for this thing you want that everybody would recommend? That even if I go ask AI what is the best way to live longer, with just that prompt, it gives me cardio first. It gives me simple exercises that is not getting big arms. But no, Philly. All Philly wants is to show off on stream. He doesn't give two shits about getting healthy. That's for fucking sure. If he cared about actually getting healthy, he would not be bulking up first. For Philly, all this is to show a result. And you cannot show a result about running. Or can you? Or can you show a result about running? Or your cardio improving? Well, if only you can, right? If only there was ways to track your fucking things properly. Well, I want a yearly half marathon. This is my time. There is people here, don't care. I did a finish. It was a half marathon. 1 hour and 48 minutes. This is my time. Last year, my time was 1:41. So there is ways to show off, even when you do this kind of training, Philly. Even when you do exercises that are what everyone would recommend to increasing your lifespan, to make your body not ache. It's so frustrating to hear him just straight up say something that is this factually wrong, because he talks with so confidence about what he's doing is correct, about what he's doing is working, without saying, for me, I had these experiences and I would recommend doing this because it worked for me. He's saying, no, you need to do this. I did this and it led to all these wonderful results. And I just had it. I can't anymore. So I have collecting data on everything. Next time we are talking ear infection and how he fucked that up too, because Darcy leaks, we now know that he never went to a doctor for the fucking ear infections. Now, what does that mean? I think he just fucking asked Grog. I think he just asked Grog about what to do when I keep getting ear infections, and gave him old data that doesn't matter to anyone. And big ups for you, Doctor, Mr. Venture. Like, I'm willing to bet you are working harder than him, even with his new weight machine. It really is COVID, mommy. I said that out loud. Interesting. I did not say that was not on my bingo card. But all he wants is to show a result. And you can't do that easily with running, or with swimming, or with treadmill. I mean, the sole fact you go outside in Florida where a crocodile can eat you at any time, or Florida man can come kidnap you. I mean, that takes more bravery than Phil ever had in his life. But I'm just done. So we're talking ear infection next week. We are going a bit more into how fitness Phil started and dietary Phil. And then we are talking, and then I'm gonna just get every piece of data about him starting to work out, how he talked about it, why he wanna do it. And I'm just gonna go over it bit by bit. I plan to do this weekly from now on, because my schedule is finally solidified after we moved hospital. They can be cute, Dapper. I agree. They are very cute when they are 10 feet away from me. But what walking is, I can't stress this enough. Walking is the easiest thing to do. The human body is designed to do 3 things: lay down, stand up, and walk, or run. It's the same motion, just different tempos. That is the 3 things we are evolved to do the best. So if anyone ever goes to any doctor and they say, hey, I want to live longer, I have noticed My body aches, I get tired easy, I don't have the energy to do these things. Walk. That is always where you start. It is always what we would recommend you start with, is walking and you start with a mile, or whatever the fuck it is. Well, a pig is a bit different, because a pig can't look upwards. They are more designed for sprinting and headbutting. They're very efficient at this, and their main defense is actually blunt force trauma against the enemy with their body. They also can't sweat, so they have to coat themselves in oils and fats and mud. This is what Phil is doing. Like, everything makes sense when you think about it, because the reason Phil is so always overheating in that office is because he can't sweat, because he is not coating himself in mud or oil. God, why does that make so much sense to say out loud? I hate this. Why does it work? Why does it make more sense to analyze Phil's body and his issues by going out of the prefix of a quadrupedal animal? Yeah. But I'm gonna be doing this weekly on Thursdays for a bit now. And next week we're going over the fucking ear infection and some Darciac leaks. We are gonna look into the DMs about Cat, because now Phil has leaked the DMs and Darciac has confirmed the leaks against Triple P. Cat is fair game, the very least in regards to the DMs that Phil has shared. We will talk a bit about his parents next. Not that I will go into details about his parents, because I think they are best left alone, because they are not part of the content, unless Phil makes them part of the content. I will only be dealing about what Phil says about them, and then using that to explain some of the things about Phil's body. But I will see you all next week, where we talk about Phil's ears and how they keep having gunk in them that he can't get rid of, which is also actually a pig thing, because pigs can't clean their ears like we do as effectively, which is why they flop a bit more and it's always standing up. I fucking hate this. But yeah, and then later we will start talking about how Phil eats about the same as an anorexia patient from when it comes to a caloric intake, which is always fun to look at. I will also be talking about Cat compared to Phil, because it's very interesting if they both changed its diet to this extent, why Phil is losing weight and Cat is gaining weight. It's very interesting. Which probably is because of a tryout thing, but that is for another time. For now, I have a shift coming up, so I'll be up all night. Yoi! Already loopy. And we will take it from there and start just taking over Phil's little health stories one by one until we reach modern day fitness Phil. I plan on going over an arc every day, and then at the end do every week, and then at the end do a little what has he said as of now, because he did bring up gout recently. I didn't get the clip for today, but he did bring it up. So see you all. Mwah! Have fun and enjoy, and the old man or the funny English man that think he's not English but actually is English but speaks funny. Love you all and take care. God, Phil is the worst for the time being. I think this is the most annoying I have ever been at him, besides the hospital story. It's been fucking dreadful. But anyhow, mwah, enjoy.